I'm at 712 Rhode Island. To echo some of the things that Melanie and other neighbors have said, I think the important thing for the council members to consider is, it's not a referendum whether we like Dasha or not. I've been in a number of these meetings. No one has said we want to see Dasha closed or anything like that. I think the salient point is that the neighborhood already has an agreement with this business. They have not met a number of the terms of those agreement. We've talked about the violations, occupancy, et cetera, the lack of a permanent structure on a lot, so forth. And I think that at this time, I would say, I can't support an expansion based on the business's track record with our current agreement. And if there was kind of better compliance with the agreement, that would be a better foundation for talking about some type of expansion in the future.
Attention everyone, the time is now 8:45 p.m.
I'm afraid, unless you're going to be 2 seconds.
At this time.
Very quick, Baron Soko, 6th and S. I'm not clear, is the expansion to cover the outdoor space or overall?
Overall.
Okay, well, I just think it's worth separating these. If a lot of the concerns that have been expressed about the outdoor space, if the number of people outdoors is not being significantly expanded, if what we're doing is putting people indoors, that seems like a solution to most of the problems, the concerns that have been raised tonight, which are most fundamentally about noise. And I think the answer there is subsidize the neighbors' soundproofing, which has been done at Wiltberger Alley, and make sure that Dasha does a good job at soundproofing the building, and that seems like a good solution for most of the concerns that have been raised.
Thank you very much. I'm afraid I hate to commit to this meeting.
20 seconds.
I can't, we have to have a chance to have a discussion, and I'm so sorry.
Oh, I have so many
wish.
important things to say. 20 seconds.
I can't give it to you, sweetie, I am so sorry. Time is out, we are on a time limit, even to get out of the building, so.
Am I allowed to say anything?
I think at this point, no, you're not even going to get a chance to say anything. The commissioners have to have a chance and have to do a vote.
Okay, go positive, nothing.
So I know many of you know that I've spent the better part of the 15 years that I've been an A&C commissioner trying to attract new businesses to this neighborhood. And back in 2013, when the owners of Dasha approached me, they were introduced by a mutual friend. I said, talk to the neighbors. If the neighbors don't have a problem with it, then I don't have a problem with it. So the neighbors dutifully met repeatedly with the two principals from Dasha. And as I think it was Brian that mentioned that the agreement went down to the wire right before the ANC meeting when we had to vote on this matter. And the key provision about the approval was that there were going to be 100 seats in this beer garden. Now this is important because when I went with the principals from Dasha over to what was then the Standard and then the Garden District, their outdoor capacity, according to ABRA, let's make sure I get it right, their total outdoor capacity is 95. 95, less than 100. Every conversation we had with the folks from Dasha was based on the fact that this was as big as this thing was going to get. That having been said, we allowed them to expand their hours because the neighbors wanted to be good neighbors and wanted to try to work with them. And then this year, the noise from the overcapacity issues just got out of hand. And the neighbors started calling, and you heard the results of those investigation reports. Popularity does not trump a minority's rights. Yes, there are a minority of constituents that are most negatively impacted by this, but they have rights too. And I will not betray them for any number of change.org petitions or emails or any other kind of communication. So the ANC6C ABC licensing committee met last Thursday. We had a very long presentation, a very long discussion with representatives from Dasha, about over 2 hours. And our resolution was to recommend to the full commission that the ANC protest the application for substantial changes. So this is in my single member district. I'm going to take the privilege of making a motion.
Before you make a motion, does anyone, do any other commissioners have something they want to say?
Yeah. Well, I want to agree with Alex. I received about 16 emails just from the residents. And I think the residents have a loud voice that we need to listen to because they have to deal with it every day. When I had tenants who lived behind me, my bedroom faced the alley, they just had 10 people out. I could hear every conversation that took place in my bedroom that was flanking the alley. My bedroom is maybe 40 feet away from the alley. So if I could hear conversations outside the back of the house, I can only imagine what the residents are hearing. There's 400 people on the beer garden. So I'm partial to the residents that live in that immediate area.
Fred, do you have
Yeah,
something?
I would like to say that I have received a lot of email thoughts about this. No one who represents a group of people wants to anger any segment of that group, but sometimes you have to. I met personally with the proprietors of the beer garden. They invited me, although they're not in my district. I know a lot of my constituents patronize there and enjoy there. And I went there. It's a great place. The food is great. I'm not a beer drinker. They showed me other drinks that they have that are not beers, and they were wonderful. But when I get down to it, I have to look at what was the agreement that they had. They sought out the neighbors to have their support, and they agreed to do certain things that they ultimately did not do. They promised a certain level of patronage. Now, I am very supportive of their indoor space, but the problem is that they are combining the indoor and the outdoor space, and you can't vote for part of it or not, or oppose part of it and support the other part. You can either oppose it all or support it all. If they would separate their desire for the indoor restaurant from their desire to increase the capacity of the outdoor space of the beer garden, I think they would have a different result. And that would be something that I think a lot of people would be supportive of. But the problem is that they entered into a voluntary agreement with the neighbors that they would be at a certain size. They have not done that. They have been cited many times. There's no reason to believe, no matter how much good they've done in the community, and they have, but there's no reason to believe that if they did not comply with what they agreed with when they moved in, that now all of a sudden they're going to start complying with what they are asking for now. I mean, you can't get beyond that 126 seated customers with what they said that they would do. That's what they agreed with Abra. They've gone beyond that. And now they're asking up to 600, and there's no guarantee that they will stick within those bounds.
So I move that Advisory Neighborhood Commission 6E protest the license application for a substantial change for Dasha Beer Garden at 1600 to 1602 7th Street Northwest on the basis of peace, order, quiet, negative impacts on real estate values and parking. And that we submit this correspondence to the ABC board and the Alcoholic Beverage Regulation Administration.
Neighborhood values.
Excuse me, it's not, your turn is over now. You have to give us the courtesy that we gave you. I need a second to this.
Makes no sense.
Is anybody seconding? Frank is seconding? Okay. All in favor of supporting the idea to protest this application signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those that would say nay.
See who does.
Pardon me?
Show of hands. See the hands.
We're going to tell you who it is, don't worry. Those who are not interested in protesting but accept the application, please signify.
No, nay.
Yeah, I'm asking for the nays.
Nay.
Nay and nay. Okay, so the motion has passed. Alfred, I didn't hear you vote. Okay, are you abstaining from the vote?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so the vote is 3 to protest, 2 against, 1 abstention.
What was your vote?
I voted to support.
Okay, so.
Not to support your, I'm sorry, against what you said. Yeah, not to support the protest.
Support the application for substantial.
Yes. And I've changed my opinion from the last meeting, so I've heard from a lot of different people, and that's my thought on it. So the motion to protest carries, and it carries 1, 2, 3, 3 to 2, and 1 abstention. For those of you who wish to know who did what, Alex, Kevin, and Frank voted to protest. Alfreda voted to abstain. Myself and Rochelle voted to support.
Yeah, and
Voted against.
I'm sorry, to vote, to accept the application, jeez.
can we be heard for 1 minute now that you voted?
You have exactly 1 minute because we have to be out of the building.
Sure,
Yes,
we would
please.
like to continue to work with the community and continue to keep a dialogue open as one of the last people who
Yes.
came forward. So we would like you to appoint someone who can work with us and actually meet with us to talk about the way to do this. And I support Alex Padro. I went to Shaw Main Streets. I like the work he's done for the community, but he has refused to meet with Dacia on any basis. So it's impossible to reach an agreement when he has refused to meet. So we would ask respectfully that you appoint someone to be the point person from your ANC who we can meet with and come to some rational agreement on what can be done.
There's a reason why I refused to meet with them. I told them that I wanted them to work with the Civic Association, try to resolve their issues, and then when that was completed, come to me so that I could review what the status was.
But to not have a dialogue.
Okay.
It wasn't gonna work.
I'm sorry, our time is way too short for even the explanation right now. As chair of this commission, you can call me or email me at any time. And Brian Peters, as the president of the Civic Association, is also available, right, Brian?
Absolutely.
So we will work with you on this. Mhm. This meeting is adjourned.
I second.
Okay.
That was a good time.